Welcome to Throne Talk, presented by Barely Sober News. My name is George Pecoraro, talking Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5, called EASTWATCH. This week on Game of Thrones, Gendry is back. Cersei is pregnant. Congratulations. And Jon Snow and his band of merry men go to the other side of the wall. So check out Barely Sober News on Twitter and Instagram at Barely Sober News, and let's get to Throne Talk. So the highlights of this week's episode, I believe, is Sam and Gilly. Sam kind of being upset about the whole Maester thing and kind of venting a little bit to Gilly. So Gilly reads from Maynard's records. Maester Maynard issues an annulment to Prince Rhaegar and remarried him to someone else at the same time in a secret ceremony in Dorne. Now, of course, Sam doesn't even know what this is. Sam doesn't even care. He kind of blows over it. Sam doesn't even realize because he's so caught up in himself and him being a maester. So this proves the theory that Rhaegar and Lyanna actually get married. That Rhaegar doesn't kidnap Lyanna and doesn't rape her. They actually love each other and they get remarried. It was a quick scene. It was very easy to miss. Kind of cleared up, at least for the audience, about what the real story was. Now, Rhaegar was originally married to Alina Martell. It seems that Maester Maynard, issued an annulment and remarried Rhaegar to Lyanna. And we get everything we need to know and nothing more. Now, Sam decides that he cannot do anything else in Old Town, that no one cares about the White Walkers, no one cares that no one cares about the Night King. So he says, unknowingly, a little shout out to his father. He is tired of reading about achievements of better men, not knowing that his father, Randall and Dickon Tarly, have died at the hand of Daenerys Stormborn. Drogon incinerated them completely. Where will Sam go? Is he going back to Hornhill? Is Sam going to be going to Winterfell? Is he going to go meet Jon Snow, give more information? Hopefully the books Sam grabbed were actually the books with the information about the White Walkers. You don't know. He just started grabbing books, grabbing parchment. You don't know. Hopefully Sam grabbed the right information. Another big thing in this episode is Cersei is pregnant with Jamie's child, and Cersei doesn't want to keep it a secret about whose child it is. Now, Jamie's also so frightened of Daenerys and her dragons. Jamie actually kind of wants to back down a little bit. He's kind of scared after what he saw from the Dothraki and what he saw from the dragons. But of course, Cersei will not back down. She has no other choice. She is not back down. And you know what? She hasn't even seen the army or the dragons. So she realized the gravity of the situation between what's going on. Now, here's the thing. Now, when Cersei had the meeting with the witch when she was a little girl, the witch proclaimed that the Vologar will kill her. Translates into younger brother sibling. So Cersei is pregnant with Jamie's kid, and it's predicted if Tyrion is not Cersei's brother, then it will be Jamie killing Cersei. Also, the witch predicted that Cersei will only have 3 children, which she already has had, which they already were killed, which was also predicted by the witch. So now will Jamie be killing Cersei, and so will also be killing the baby? Let me know what you think. Will Jamie be the one that kills Cersei, or will it be Tyrion? Or is that just not even true at all? Will Jamie be the one killing Cersei with the baby? Or actually, will the baby actually still live and only Cersei will die? It's very unexpected that Cersei got pregnant. I did not expect that. And now it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Cersei being pregnant and how she handles this war against Daenerys. Now, the biggest and most interesting thing of all going on with Game of Thrones is Jon Snow and his merry men going over the wall to get a White Walker, to bring him to the King's Landing, to prove to Cersei, to prove to Daenerys that this is a real threat, that the White Walkers are coming, that we need to stop fighting, that everybody needs to band together to fight the White Walkers. We need to figure out how to kill them, and they need to fight them together and not be apart and not worrying about a stupid war about a throne. So Jon Snow, Tormund, Gendry, Jorah Mormont, the Hound, Beric Dondarrion, and Thoros go over onto the other side of the wall in a mission to get a White Walker. So 7 men are going over to the other side of the wall, really go face to face with the White Walkers. And as you can see in previews for episode 6, you can see they obviously come face to face and have a serious battle going on with these White Walkers. Now 7 men are going over. Some of these men are more main characters than others. Someone's got to die. 7 men are going over. How many men will actually make it back? If you go to Barely Sober News on Twitter, there's a Twitter poll going on right asking who do you guys think is actually going to die on the other side of the wall. And right now, as it stands, so originally I asked who will die beyond the wall. I put Jon Snow, Tormund, and the Hound. And as a 4th choice, I put others because that's all I could fit. 45% so far. There's still 2 days to vote. If you go on Barely Sober News on Twitter, you can vote. 45% said others. I was like, okay, so most people do not believe Jon Snow, Tormund, or the Hound will be killed. So I asked another question. Who of the others will die beyond the wall? Now I put the other 4. Gendry, Mormont, Beric, and Thoros. So right now, as it stands, still 2 days to vote. You could still get your votes in. 33% say Jorah Mormont will die. Will be the one to die. The one who finally made it back to Daenerys after getting cured. They had a nice homecoming, and the first chance he got, he chose to leave her. Now, won't that be interesting? He finally makes it back to Daenerys, and you know what? He's gonna die. And you know what? Not far off, 32%. Beric Donbarron will be the one to die. And Beric is the one with one eye who believes the God of Light is keeping him alive. He's the one that's been chopped in half and put back together. So out of the 7 right now, Jorah, Mormont, Beric, Donbarron are the ones up for grabs. I believe Jon Snow is pretty safe. Gendry is pretty safe. The Hound, I'm going to say, is pretty safe. So 3 out of 7 is up for question. Now, that does not mean that only one of these people are not going to make it back. Could be 3 or 4 of these people going. My opinion on my own, I'm going to predict Tormund doesn't make it back. As much as we love Tormund, as much as I love Tormund, he kind of really doesn't play that large of a role in Game of Thrones right now. Everyone has their own bigger story, and the only side story Tormund has is that he's in love with Brienne of Tarth. So you kind of can't predict that he's gonna just make it back. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of other things going on. You know, you believe the Hound is gonna fight his brother again. Boric is gonna make it back along with Thoros. You know, Gendry just made it back into the scene, and now he's gonna die. That's not gonna happen. Same thing with Jorah. He just made it back to Daenerys. There's no way that they're gonna have him go either. And you will not have Jon Snow, at least by the hands of the White Walkers. At least not yet. But the one who can really be up for question, it's just really sad because I think he's a fan favorite, is Tormund. Tormund might be the one to go, and you hate to see it. So now these White Walkers are headed to EASTWATCH. So right now, actually, Daenerys and Cersei kind of want to put... Actually, Daenerys mostly kind of want to put a hold out on everyone, on fighting for the Iron Throne. We're focusing on Jon Snow and the Merry Men really going after the White Walkers. You know, Daenerys is kind of really, I think, taking Jon Snow pretty seriously about how seriously he's talking about the White Walkers. After Jamie seeing what the Dothraki and what the dragons can do, he probably thinks it's a good idea too. Advises Cersei to really hold off on the war for right now. But I believe she's sort of agreeing to hold off on the war with Daenerys. That does not mean that Cersei's still not planning something. And you know what? I hope Daenerys and Tyrion also plan something. Lastly, it was a very interesting scene to see Tyrion and Jamie get together. The look on Jamie's face was actually very priceless. You know, to see the two brothers again who never really hated each other but kind of were forced apart, realizing that Tyrion didn't kill Joffrey and that his only spite is that Tyrion killed their father. And lastly, Gendry can really swing that hammer. And with only 2 episodes left of Game of Thrones, thanks for listening to Throne Talk. My name is George Pecoraro, and follow Barely Sober News on Twitter and Instagram at Barely Sober News.